Welcome back, everyone. Today is a new day. Before we start this video, I would like to welcome my new subscribers to the channel. Thank you for joining. To the new viewers, consider subscribing. To my old viewers, thank you for patiently waiting. I have some new stuff for you in the works as we speak. With that said, if you'd like to connect more with me and watch this progression follow through, check out my Instagram at Golden Gates Unlimited. If you would like to support this channel and support your mans, check out my Etsy page, Golden Gates Unlimited. Link will be in the description. With that said, let's get started with the video. Alright fam, thank you for patiently waiting. We are now back with another tutorial. We're going to be doing some ring band action. We're going to, we have the normal style ring bands. We got the normal, your average wire wrapping ring band. It's simple, it's clean, it looks good. Oh, pow. But we're going to take it to another level. Here is one of the styles. This is a 4-strand braid. This one's a little bit more difficult. Here's another example. Very nice. Very clean. And once we add the oxidation process to this, it's gonna look ace. Okay, alright? It's gonna look super fresh. So this is just a single strand braid. This is what we're gonna be learning today. And later on we'll get to some, I don't want to say more advanced because it's really doing the same thing over and over again. But it's a little more complex. Let's put it that way. So yes, let's do some single strand braids. What you need is 22, where is it? 22 half round. I'm using 21 in this case, but if you use a thinner gauge, that's alright. So I'm using 21. And what I like to do to increase my production is I like to make a lot of material to work with and then start 3 or 4 rings, work them halfway, and then finish them all at pretty much the same time. So I'll show you when we get to that point. So we're going to create enough material to work with to make at least 4 to 5 rings. So how long is that? You think that's, I'm going to say it's like 15 inches. Yeah. So we're going to make a 15-inch braid, single strand braid. So I'm going to show you guys how to start this process. And then, I have a few single strand braids already set up to start the next step because this braiding part is a little tedious. What you're also going to need is some handy dandy nylon flat nose pliers, some clippers of course, and your happy self. Alright? So my wires are a little beat up, gotta flatten them out, and we're gonna tie them all together. You can get another piece of half round, maybe 3-4 inches, and then tie them all next to each other facing the same way. Alright, so we got all of our wires. We're gonna tie them all down next to each other while they're flat. Now this first pass is important. They should not overlap whatsoever. They should be completely flat as you go around. Hit it with your pliers. And this section you can use these pliers, it's okay. Each round. Alright, 3 or 4 times is good. Now, the braiding. So this is pretty easy. I work at a almost a sideways angle. It just produces a nicer braid. It's a little bit easier to work with. So how I start my braid, I'll take the left one, bend it to the left a little bit. The middle one, I'll give it another little bend to the left. Am I doing this right? And then the right one, I'll bring it over the top. And this is where your nylon pliers come in. Keeps everything nice and flat without pinching the wire. Bam, first cross. Okay. And the middle one, which is now the right side, can get a nice and easy bend, you know, nothing too harsh. Now we're going to take this far left, go over the middle strand, and it's going to lay parallel to the strand on the far right. Then you grab your nylons and make sure it's nice and flat. And this distance right here is very important. You want to keep this distance consistent all the way through the braid. So we're going to pull this over, and it's going to gently slide over this strand. And then we're going to gently pull, and then have that distance in between the wires, flatten it up, and we're going to keep going till we finish these strands. So it slides over, flatten it out, grab this one, slide it on over, flatten it out, slide this one over, and flatten it out. And just do that until you have finished this strand. Okay, so that'll leave you with a very long braid, enough for maybe 3 to 4 rings. Here's a finished one. So this is, you know, maybe 2 rings, 3 rings maybe, for them small baby hands. You know, that'll be like 1 ring. 2 rings. Nah, this is 2 rings. Okay. The next step, which is actually putting it on the ring band. So now we need. So check out the width of it. It's not too wide, right? So we only want to go to maybe like a little bit wider than the braid. So we have 22 gauge. We're going to cut 7 inches. Of wire. We're going to cut 4, let's see, I think 4 or 5 pieces will be just spectacular. Let's see how we do with 4. And then we need our half round wire again, and we're going to cut a piece about, I don't know, 3 feet. Alright, so square wire, straighten it out a little bit. You could also use your nylons. That's also what it's really good for. But I like to do it with my fingers. So we're going to take our 4 pieces of wire, see if it's wide enough. Oh yeah. It's just the right width. It's actually almost exactly the same. So, that'll work. Alright, so we're going to want to have a balanced right side and left side. So we're going to start maybe, what is that, 3 to 4 inches up the ring band. And we're just going to tie them all down. We're going to do 3 passes. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. Very easy. We'll do one more for good luck. I might have moved a little bit further down, so I just pulled it back a little bit. Now I'm going to take my braid. It's going to sit, the end of my braid is going to sit just on top of those 4 wraps. Let's clip this excess because we want the braid to sit just on top of that, so it kind of locks it down in place. And we're going to gently and precisely wrap up top or over the braid using our nylon pliers here. Make sure it's nice and flat. Hit that loop around. Very easy. Go over one more time for that dazzling look. Hit it with the nylons. Bam. We just tied it down. Look at that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to, gently lift this up. This is where you might get a little small issue, is getting this half round wire real close and tucked. It's not going to be perfectly flush, but it'll be pretty damn close. So we're going to get it pretty damn close and continue wrapping around the ring band. So I gotta jump back to these pliers so I can get in there and gently flatten it out. And now we're gonna wrap this about, I generally do it about 15 times because I like to have this only 2 of these like double wraps around the braid within the ring band. You can mess around and experiment with the pattern or the amount of times you wrap around the braid. I just like to keep it very minimal, and it keeps it easier to keep the flow going. So we're gonna do it 15, I'll go 14 times. So. And now we're gonna gently and precisely wrap over the braid 2 times, flatten it out a little bit, and then continue doing another 15. Alright fam, so that was at this moment that my camera had died and I resumed filming at a later time of the day, and I kind of didn't explain what I was doing. So you should have 3 segments of 15 coils just around the ring band, and you will have 3 segments that will leave you with 3 segments of the braid showing. So you will actually see what it looks like in just a sec, and you know, this is what you should pretty much get. Ta-da. So grab your ring mandrel, and depending on the size, you always want to do a size bigger. So let's say we're going for 8, or we're going for 7, we're going to go to 8 and tie it around there. So we could have left this excess on. I should have. So now we can just continue tying it, but you know, it doesn't matter. We can just keep on moving. And already this is looking very nice. We can fix out and make it more round once it's actually tied. They're all one piece, one full circle. And it's also depending on, I forgot the size of the crystal, so we're just gonna have to throw a big gem in there to take up this entire space. We'll see what we got in inventory. So past an 8, so I gotta squeeze that down. Okay. Just keep tabs on the ring size so it kind of went bigger. Clip off the excess from the top, and now we have a solid ring band. So I might have messed up the size a little bit. I'm at around a 9-ish, so it's gonna be like over here once it's finished. Oops. But it's important to keep this as close, this part as close to this as possible, because when you tie these down, it's going to go over top of this braid, and it's going to lock it into place so it doesn't pinch or bind or catch onto anything. So that's very important. Now we need to choose a gem.